Hello again. It was really funny just sitting there watching David's presentation because I sort of that was me back in 2007. So I finished my major in Indonesian. This is just surreal telling Indonesians this. I don't know why you care, but I completed my major in 2003 and then realized after I'd done my honours year in 2004 that if I didn't keep up speaking the language, it was going to be the biggest waste of time and effort, having put so much time into learning a language, and yet having a major and not being able to hold a conversation in Indonesian whatsoever. And if I did, often I would get weird looks from Indonesian people because we learn at university, we learn standard Indonesian, bahasa baku, which makes, for the majority of my friends who are from Jakarta, makes them look at you like you're speaking to them in Shakespearean English or something like that. You know, incorrect usage of pronouns and all that kind of thing, and properly conjugating verbs, which Jakartans don't do. And so I had asked a friend who had come back from a semester at Pajajaran in Bandung, and he'd returned completely fluent and floored me. And I said, I need to do that. So in 2007, he was actually himself returning for another semester, but this time at UI, University of Indonesia. And I also went, having done 6 years at Monash University. If anyone's ever been out there in Clayton, in Melbourne, it's not the most uplifting of environments. The buildings look a bit like Sarajevo in the, that's an inappropriate reference, but that's what's been described by Melbourne University students who come and make themselves feel better about going to Melbourne than Monash. But anyway, so I went and did my last semester of my law degree, my 3 last subjects at the University of Indonesia. I think when I saw photos of the floods, when I arrived in Jakarta, 2/3 of Jakarta was underwater. And first week of classes, needless to say, didn't really go as planned. So the first lecture, I just heard, "Wadi Gansal," you know, "Najani." So, okay, good. That was my one class of the day, so I said, okay, I'll just sit in the canteen and hang out and chat. And that's really where I guess I properly started to speak the language in a colloquial sense and become more fluent and more comfortable using it. I completed three subjects, 2 of which you might think why. The first was Menatap Indonesia, or Introduction to Indonesian Law. It was the first and potentially only foreigner to ever enter that class. The lecturer, I think the lecturer lasted 1 class. He disappeared after the first class. He just disappeared. And then we had someone else, and then she disappeared, and then we had another lecturer, and she was nicer. During the mid-semester exam, she actually helped me. I didn't know a few words. But then when I didn't miserably fail the exam, she actually announced to the class how surprised she was that I had passed the exam in front of 25 other Indonesian students, and I'm sitting there trying not to sweat too much. Kita kan surprise sama Daniel. Anyway, that class was definitely an interesting one. We were given a book about that thick, A4 pages, and the mid-semester, the ujian tengah semester was half the book, and then you would think, okay, the end of the semester will be the other half. No, it was the whole book. I asked the lecturer, I said, but after the end of the semester one, the lecturer that hadn't left, I said, what? That was examined mid-semester. He said, yes, but many people got it wrong, so we examined it again. Anyway, so I did that. I did tindak pidana korupsi. In English, we'd say anti-corruption law, I guess. The first sentence of the textbook read, Indonesia is the most corrupt country in Southeast Asia and the 3rd most in the world.
That's not true.
Well, that's what the textbook said. So, Indonesia adalah negara yang paling korup di Actually, I don't know. Yeah, anyway, so I still remember. That was an interesting class as well. We had one of the vice deans, Michael Deckhand, teach that until he'd had enough after about 3 weeks. And then we had his assistant take us. The vice dean reappeared at the end of the semester to quote, and I'm not making this up, from the movie Coming to America starring Eddie Murphy. How that applied to corruption in Indonesia, I'm not sure. He then sang us a song that apparently is what he does. Interestingly enough, that subject had what he called a mega bonus, which was if you attend every class, if you, for instance, get a B, you'll get a B plus. If you get a B plus, you get an A, and so on. And so I diligently attended every class. This is the one I went to with my friend from Melbourne as well. And he missed the last class, and I may have, or may have not, during the absent panggil, during the roll call. Mana Ed, dia lagi di bawah, lagi main pingpong. Because there was a Olympiad movie at that time. I think I may have sold my friend out in costume. A grade or two, but it's the last subject was I did was introduction, but international environmental law. Textbook was in English. Already I thought, this is going to be easy. We had to do a presentation every week. We were put in groups at the beginning, and we had to do a presentation. And I was told by the lecturer, who also lasted one class, it's another reason I'll get on to maybe, but the lecturer had said, you will all do your presentations in English, except Daniel, he will do his in Indonesian. However, this was the other vice dean who didn't come to classes anymore because he was a witness in a campus corruption scandal that had broken just that week. So we had these two assistant lecturers take us, and I did like it when one of them tried to take me on about my understanding of the English text. Because he said, where have you've obtained this information from where? Show me in the book, and I just went right there and went, okay. So other than that, yes, I think in the 6 months I was there, I may have lost about 13 kilos. Stomach bugs are something else, a lot tougher now. So the image of the hospital that David put up, that was also me. Never eat, I was telling Gia and her husband this yesterday, never eat that biscuit thing at a warung in Jogja. Aromanis isinya. It's like anyway. The doctor actually said to me, I went to an international SOS, which was not cheap. It's not cheap, but worth it. And he said to me, after we realized he was an UI alumnus, ex-student, he did say to me, he took my hand and he said, you see the veins sticking out of your fingers? He said, you're so dehydrated. He said, either I put you on a drip or you go to drink 5 bottles of Pocari Sweat right now. So I did. I went and drank Pocari Sweat. That stuff's really good. And anyway, I also I played in the law faculty basketball team. Got us to play off a third and we lost. I was also incredibly sick at the time of that game, along with half the team. I proved to Indonesians that white men cannot, or we indeed cannot jump. I used to get this, boleh nombok yuk. It's like, dunk. Other than that, after I realized, I think maybe 14 weeks into a 16-week long semester, that back home I would have already been on holidays. You have long semesters over there. I don't know if that's just a specific to we, or is that a thing normal? So we're lazy here?
Yeah.
A little bit? Okay. But yes, I'd lost a lot of weight, I'd been sick several times. I was playing a lot of basketball. A lot of practices were being rained out. You could set your watch at 4 o'clock and just go, rain is coming now, and the court would be flooded. But overall, that experience really did set me up to continue to go on to do things like working in Timor-Leste. And it was that incredibly steep learning curve. And and getting myself in many a predicament linguistically, and really forcing myself out of my comfort zone and using the language, which when Australian friends of mine ask me how have you achieved such fluency, I'll tell them I went over and I made a fool of myself. I put myself out there, and I still question every day my own ability in Indonesian. And I think it's definitely something in this country. I mean, I marvel that you all speaking English the way you do, and you speak Indonesian and possibly another dialect. And yet Australia is quite monolingual, as you know, and the expectation is English, English, English. I hope that we see a little bit of a change. Even amongst my Australian friends, most of whom are monolingual, unless they were raised in a house where they don't speak English. I am a bit of an exception to the rule, and it'd be great to see that change, definitely. It's pointless to me to encourage you to all go study in Indonesia, which is what I normally do in these kind of talks. But I will leave it at that. You've heard me twice today, that's probably enough, yeah, but you're good, yeah. So, thank you again.